I adore farming sim games. And if I can take that farming sim game into bed with me and play it from there, then the game is already infinitely better. Fun fact, when I was younger, I used to really want to be a vet until I realized just how much of being a vet involved putting your arm in certain places. So I became a chemist instead. So today I thought I'd talk you through some of my favorite farming sims on the Nintendo Switch and some I'm looking forward to coming out later this year. This way, even if you're a farming sim veteran, there will be some games you haven't played. Now, to make sure my list wasn't a carbon copy of all the other lists you can find online about farming sims, I've kind of used the word farming sim a bit more loosely in some cases. Every single one of these games has farming elements, but this isn't the main focus for all of the games. So hopefully there'll be something in here that you didn't even realize you could farm in. For this list, we're also not going to be including Stardew Valley or any of the Story of Seasons games. I think everyone who loves farming sims or who are interested in farming sims kind of already know about those games and have played at least one, if not all of them. So whilst these are incredible games, I have talked about them before, so I'll link that video up here. But before we start off with this list, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We put out videos twice a week on all things cozy and Nintendo Switch related, and you don't want to miss out. First, we're going to start off with all the farming sim games currently available on the Nintendo Switch. First up is My Time at Portia. This game gives me serious Stardew Valley vibes, but in 3D. And this game actually has a tutorial to help you out if you're stuck. Much like Stardew Valley, you aren't just limited to working on your farm. There's a huge amount of land to explore and run around. There's mines and a beautiful town, and you can also meet the villagers and do some jobs for them. On top of all of that, you can craft and you have to farm resources and refine them, much like so many other farming sim games. It really is one of those games where you can literally do whatever you want to fill your day, with no day being exactly the same. And the only thing that limits you is stamina. Again, pretty standard for the farming sim world. And yes, romance is also a thing in this game. This game gives me serious Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town vibes, but also it looks a lot more fleshed out than that game. My issue with Poot was it was a bit surface level, whereas this game seems to go much, much deeper and even has really cool mini games to play. Next up is Littlewood, a game I have heard so much about from you guys, and I finally decided to include it in one of my lists. After the evil of this world has been destroyed by your character, you're left with no memory of who you are or what you have previously done. All that's left around you is a decimated town that you've decided to rebuild. To upgrade different things in the town, you need resources, and you can get that by, you guessed it, farming, along with other things such as fishing and foraging. Whilst this game does have stamina, not every action that you need to do requires it. One of the big selling points of this game is how incredibly chilled it is. There's no pressure being put on you to carry out tasks by a certain time, so you can do them whenever you want. There's also no combat in this game whatsoever. Although things can attack you, they don't actually hurt you, they just kind of send you to a different area. And if you're a lover of decorating, you'll be happy to know you can do that in this game too, and it's pretty easy. In fact, when you're trying to convince someone to move to your town, they actually give you a list of requirements to adhere to, both inside their house and outside. There is plenty to do in this game. Not only are you fixing up the entire town, you've also got to figure out who the heck you are, and I can easily see why this is on so many people's favorite cozy games lists. Next up is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. Now, if you've been on my channel a long time, you might actually recognize this game. I have covered it before when it's been on sale, as it caught my eye then, and it is perfect for this list. You're set out to vanquish demons in punishment for starting a huge fire. This game is part farm sim, part hack and slash. And if you love the look of Harvestella, this might be a great game to tide you over until November when it comes out. There are plenty of areas to explore, and each area has its own objectives. Successfully completing them and you level up and allow yourself to explore even more areas. When you're not battling, you can be found farming. This is used to give you a stat boost and a fullness rating, which in turn means that you can restart a level if you fail it. And the cool part about the farming mechanic is the fact that the items you gather are actually perishable, so you have that to take into account. Most of your farming time and energy is spent growing rice. Not only do you grow the rice, you care for it by watering and removing bugs and weeds, and then it's your job to harvest and hull them. The better quality rice you make, the larger the stat boost you receive. I just want to say I love the aesthetic to this game so much, and I love the mix of fighting and then growing rice and caring for stuff. This game just looks so heckin' cool. Next up is Stillness of the Wind, and this is a completely different vibe to the game I just mentioned. Playing as an old woman, there is no expectation to carry out every task each day, as you just don't have the energy to do it. As someone who suffers from chronic fatigue, I love the premise of a game that doesn't punish you for not being able to complete every single task in one day. Like, that really speaks to me as a person. This game is a story-based farming sim, and the slow-based gameplay is accompanied by the most beautiful story and music. This game sees you take care of things like goats and plants, and you trade with a traveling salesman to take care of your farm. You play as an old woman whose children have moved out one by one to live in the city, leaving her alone to look after the farm by herself. And the only contact you get from your family is the occasional letter. Small disclaimer, don't let the aesthetics of this game and the slow pace make you think that this game is at all lighthearted. The game handles themes of loneliness with raw honesty. So whilst this is an incredible game, I would say it's kind of high on the emotional damage scale, so just make sure you're in the appropriate place to play it. But honestly, this is a completely unique take on a farming sim that I haven't seen any other game do, and I think it's one that definitely deserves to be on this list. It's different, but in a fantastic way. Next up is Dragon Quest Builders 2. Look, okay, hear me out. I told you some of these weren't going to be straight farming sims, okay? My list needs to be unique, so hear me out, okay? This is a more loose definition of a farming game, but you can farm, so it's in the list. Think Minecraft, but less pixels and cuter. It's basically a building RPG with exploration, crafting, and you got it, farming. See, I wasn't lying. There are some enemies to contend with, but there's also looting and puzzle shrines, so it really has got a bit of everything. I've also heard the post-game is arguably better than the story, as it lets you be a lot more creative with the building side of things. And oh my god, have I seen some incredible builds. Farming wise, there's actually quite a lot to do, kind of like Minecraft. And later down the line, if you want to, you can make a lot of the farming side of things automated by hiring people to do things for you. And look, if people say Minecraft is cozy, then legally I'm allowed to call this a cozy farming sim, okay? Next up are the farming sims I'm really looking forward to that are coming out later this year. First up, we have Ooblets. Okay, we're not gonna go into it. I've mentioned this game about 4 times already, so I'm just gonna use this as a plea. Ooblets development team, please give us a release date. You said summer this year, and it's already summer this year. Please. Next is a game I haven't ever talked about on this channel, and I don't know how, because it looks incredible, and it is Lemon Cake. This is an absolutely adorable game where you take over a dilapidated bakery and return it to its former glory. You're responsible for every single thing that happens in the bakery. You cook, you clean, you take orders, and if you run out the back, there is a farm to take care of as well, which is absolutely vital for some certain recipes. Each day you work in the bakery earns you XP, which you use to level up and allows you to unlock even more recipes, which then improves your bakery. Also, I just love the look of the farm animals you take care of. This game is already on PC and is coming to Switch end of September. And man, September's gonna be an expensive month. I think every cozy game is coming out then. Next up is Coral Island, a game that I have seen in the comment section of every single one of my cozy game videos asking me to talk about it. So after looking into it, I fully understand why this game looks incredible. This has to be one of the most anticipated farming sims coming to the cozy community. And just look at it. It fully deserves all the praise it is currently getting. Every single time I see them introduce a new feature, I squeal because this game already looks incredible and there's still more to come before the full release. Recently, they've introduced a diving feature that adds underwater sea creature NPCs. This game first started as a Kickstarter and ended up raising over $1 million. The cozy game community really did say, take my money. Please. Sometimes I feel like farming sims can be a bit lacking in the looks department, but this game looks so detailed and just so alive. This has every single thing you expect to see from a farming sim. You can farm, you can fish, there's a beautiful town, loads of quests to do, and plenty of romance options. One cool feature is if you have a child, you will watch the child grow up, and the children who exist in the town will also grow up as time goes by. How cool is that? The game is set in a Southeast Asia inspired landscape, leading to an absolutely beautiful land to explore. There's a theme of conservation interwoven throughout the whole game, which as a woman in STEM myself, I absolutely adore. Not only will it show us adults little things we can do every single day to better the world, it will hopefully inspire kids to look after this world as best as they can. Another cool feature I love is the fact that there is a slider, so you can pick how long every single day lasts. So if you want to take things nice and slow and not rush whatsoever, then you can pick the slowest time. And if you are someone who played a lot of Stardew Valley, you can crank that timer all the way up and just like sprint around the whole town doing everything as fast as you can. That's how the pros play Stardew, right? There is so much to cover about this game, including mini games and pets, that I can't cover in this video. So let me know if you want an entire video just about this game. The one thing I do want to make clear is this game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. However, I'm unsure as to whether it's going to be releasing the same date on the Nintendo Switch as the PC, because a lot of games seem to have a slightly delayed Nintendo Switch release date. Next up is Harvestella, and this is one of my most anticipated game releases of this year. We got introduced to it not that long ago, and you can see the video here where I cover the trailer way more in depth. This game looks to be the perfect balance between RPG and farming sim. Not only is the landscape absolutely beautiful, this game is set to have an incredible story alongside all the farming sim elements. So often farming sims have overarching goals but are lacking in terms of like actual story. So I'm really excited to see these two mesh together in an incredible story-driven combat farming sim. What more can you want? Sadly, we have to wait until November for this game to come out, and I'm not being funny. I need this now. I need it like right now. Our final farming game of today is Cult of the Lamb. Yes, there is farming in this game. I don't think it was made that obvious by the initial trailer, but through some deep diving and also the developers' TikToks, I have discovered that farming is an element of this game, and man, this game looks so good. This game is releasing in just over 1 month, and it's guaranteed to give you your daily dose of wholesome yet cursed gaming. You, a lamb, has been possessed and are now in charge of an entire cult. This game, part dungeon crawler, part farming sim, sees you work hard to expand your cult and become the one true cult of this world. And yes, farming will help you become the one true cult. And yes, being a good cult apparently includes a good farm and a great base, which you must spend your time developing. Don't let the cute art style fool you though. This game is quite dark, with you doing whatever it takes to become the one true cult. So yeah, there's gonna be some violence. This is gonna be a beautiful balance of the cute aesthetic mixed with the cursed idea that is this game. I cannot wait. From what I've seen so far, the combat looks buttery smooth and the base building looks so much fun. I can't wait to grow myself a cult. That's all my farming sims I have for you today. Click here if you want to see an Australian version of Animal Crossing, and the secret word of the day is applesauce. Hopefully that will confuse a lot of people. I'll see you next time. Bye.